Hey,
Hey, thank you for tuning in.
I'm Matt,
And I'm Kevin.
and today we're going to do what we do every week.
Yep, and that's a
Um,
web TV show called Funniness is a Warm Gun.
this week we're going to be talking about Barry O'Farrell.
Yep, and
Premiere.
MH370 update.
Yep,
Matt's got some travel tips for us.
yep, some travel tips coming up. We're going to talk about surveillance and, those hard-hitting topics.
Google Earth, speed cameras and whatnot. Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, Piracy, movies.
Yep, I've got a Lego movie review or a few words I want to say about that.
Why did the little girl fall off the swings?
Why, Matt?
She had no arms.
We'll be right back.
Hey. Pull over.
Man, these shows all suck.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
We could do better than this. Hey,
Yeah.
let's do it!
Hey, welcome back, and this week we are live from the Barossa Valley, where Australia makes a shitload of wine. Probably the
Controversial wine.
controversial wine. That's right, Penfolds. We're here.
The
live
finest
from
top
today.
shelf Grange has been offered to us by the good people at Pensfold. So
Thank you very much.
thank you for the
Wine.
That's how good it is. I actually forgot what it was.
Yeah.
This is the kind of wine that makes you have memory losses. Apparently.
This is where the whole controversy began. Right with this wine, or right with this winery.
Yep.
Although Penfolds didn't do anything, they
No.
didn't, they didn't give their wine to anybody. In fact, sorry, for people who are not watching from Australia, or even people watching from Australia who don't watch a lot of news, you might not be familiar with what we're talking about. So, I don't know, Kevin, would you like to give us the rundown just of...
So one of the states that that we actually happen to live in, New South Wales, has a premier who was ousted and forced to resign from politics because he was sent a gift that he didn't recall. The gift was a top-range bottle of Grange from the Penfolds.
1959.
The day of his birth, the year of his birth.
Oh, is that why they did it? Okay, right.
But the whole controversy stemmed out these saying, I didn't receive it or whatever, and there was some write-offs and stuff.
I think he was, like, in front of a panel, like, under oath of, like, have you received anything worth X amount? And he might have said, yes, I received this and that for that reason, but for whatever reason, he did not mention the bottle of Grange.
Right.
And they said, there's no way you could have forgotten about that. And he goes, I can't remember. But in fact, he said, even after he resigned and everything, and he copped it, he should have disclosed it, he still said he couldn't remember, even though, this is after they found that there was a handwritten note
Yeah, right.
kind of thanking the people who gave it to him.
Yep.
I think it was some kind of people who had political interests in water or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the water supply people.
Yeah.
And there was some talks of foul play saying that they did it to set him up and things, which is very elaborate, over 3 years to set him up with something
Yeah.
that probably wouldn't have worked, but on one...
There's probably a bit of a fringe conspiracy theory, right? Not,
I think so.
Not anything that any mainstream news outlet believes at the moment.
No, but the thing that is interesting is, like, it's a bottle of wine, and the dude was apparently he was good at what he did, and he brought a lot of change and stuff, and then he's ousted by a bottle of wine.
Whether or not
Of all things.
whether or not he was good at what he did is kind of a point of contention. He was a big advocate of those lockout laws
But, okay.
that we're opposed to.
That might be karma coming back around. That he was denying people of his booze and then he got taken down by it. But what I don't understand is it was a gift to him, and he just accepted a gift. He didn't steal it or he didn't do anything wrong, really.
I would argue that he probably did. He did do something wrong in the sense that, if you're getting something that's worth this amount of money from a politically interested party, not a private personal friend or anything,
Yep.
and then you don't disclose that at a hearing, which is all about specifically that kind of stuff, it's definitely...
He could have legitimately forgot, though.
Well, I mean, it is supposed to be really good wine,
Those dudes get presents and gifts and contributions all the time. You can't
Do you
keep track of
think-
something 3 years ago.
Do you think this could be a reason that maybe Grange is overrated? He's like, whatever.
I don't
Just another
know.
bottle of wine.
I have nothing to say about it against the people that have offered us this spot in front of their vineyards. So
Well, yeah. I mean, don't bite the hand that feeds you. I mean, I'll just do a little bit of tasting.
how was it?
It's like God put his hand in my mouth
So it's definitely worthy of remembering.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Pitfalls.
All right.
I guess, yeah, all I would say is that I do think it was a legitimate ethics violation, but
Yep.
that could all change. Just stay tuned for later on in the show. And
Farrell will reach out to you a little later on.
maybe. Stay tuned.
Just on something else as well, you might have noticed if you're a regular watcher of this that our ears have been liberated.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Feeling good, so the headphones have come off.
We just
again
it out, yeah.
In an upgrade.
Yeah. Well, kind of a downgrade in a way. It's less equipment because we haven't got anything that's made the headphones redundant. We've just decided that we don't need to listen to ourselves while we're doing it. But hey, if you're watching and you've got any opinion on this, just let us know what you think. Whether you like us with headphones or without.
It's a hard hitting topic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just while we're on that, if you do want to reach out to us, we're on Twitter and
@Fiog,
YouTube, G+,
iTunes.
iTunes.
I upload extra. I was thinking as well, we might want to get our stuff on SoundCloud again because some people do use that as their preferred. So I can handle that if you want. I can be Mr. Audio and you can be Mr. Visual.
Done. But if you're watching the video, you're watching it right now. Like it because we need those likes.
Mm-hmm. And one reason to watch our show is our hard-hitting news coverage.
Yep.
Relentless. We keep you updated about the most important events going on in the world.
Yep. And what is the most important event of this time?
Let's cut to the ongoing coverage of MH370.
Yep.
Ongoing coverage. So every week we keep you appraised of the most recent developments in the search for the missing MH370 flight.
Yep.
And this week, Kevin?
Nothing.
They still haven't found it. Still haven't found it. I'll tell you something that did happen, though, with Malaysian Airlines today.
Right.
Very early Monday morning.
Yep.
An emergency landing. They had some kind of technical failure on one of their flights.
Right.
So that's suspect, isn't it? Because all the engineers and everything are saying, we have got no idea what could have happened to the plane. Well, don't you? It seems like a lot of your planes are fucking up. All around the place.
Or maybe they're trying to save face. They're like, no, well, look how rigorous our testing is. That couldn't have happened.
What, because they managed to emergency land it? Yeah, it's stretching. I don't know. I mean, I prefer not to have an emergency landing at all. I haven't seen Qantas or Jetstar or Air New Zealand or Air America or anything like that doing any emergency landings recently. So,
Malaysia Airlines, pick your game up.
Yeah, you've
already lost one.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't look like they're actually going to find. I think the beacons, the fingers have run out.
And I guess on that note, just speaking of traveling.
Yeah,
that's one thing that I wanted to.
So Matt was OS last week. How did you think I went with the show by myself?
I thought it was good. It was enjoyable.
Oh,
it was
that
right.
makes one person.
It was all right. I thought the delivery of the monologue was a little bit static, but aside from that, I thought you held up your own.
I had a bit
held up your own doing it.
I wouldn't like to do it again, but I had some fun doing it. Yeah. But Matt is back, fresh from NZ, and I believe you have some travel tips.
Yep. Did you want to do the 3, or did you want to do just the one main one?
If you have a main one,
just do the main one. The main one, because I was going to do 3, and 2 of them were going to be jokey, like not really useful ones, but we decided to cut with that.
Yeah, exactly.
So my main actual legit travel tip. Everyone hates it, alright, you get off the plane and you've just been on a 3-hour flight at the very least, pretty much. 5, 10, 15-hour flights?
16.
16, yeah.
Or if you're on a Malaysian Air flight, 20 minutes.
Yeah. After all that, then you can't even go to your hotel or, visit your family immediately. You have to clear customs and stand in line and more waiting.
Come on.
So I've got a way to clear customs super quick. You know how you're on the plane and they give you that card that you present to customs that you tick, do you have any explosives or any food products that could be whatever. Everyone always ticks no. I mean, you might have some guns or whatever that you some antiques or whatever that you might want to declare.
Yep.
So the rare person might declare something. But as a result, because so fewer people declare anything, the line for those people who actually have something ticked is really small. Right. So just always declare something innocuous. I always declare, because I'm a smoker, this one's easy, you know how they say, like, for Australia, for instance, do you have more than 50 cigarettes?
Right.
Well, counting the open pack in my pocket with the ones I bought through duty free, yes, I do. You know, I've got 62 or whatever.
Right.
So I just declare that. Just want to be super honest, you know. And every time I get up and like, so you know, how many am I going? 60. Like, get the fuck out of here.
So they let you through with that.
They let me through. They
And you get picked
They don't even scan my bag. I've been running this little scam for probably 3 years now. I've kind of figured this loophole. I think once I probably travelled about 7 odd times. Out of those 7, I think they've actually put the bag through the scanner once. The other times they've just been like, get the bag, there's the exit, go.
There you go.
Customs takes me all of about 5 minutes.
It's a good little tip.
Yeah.
But if everyone does it, then...
Well, unfortunately, Kevin,
Lucky we
this
don't
show
have
is
many
not
viewers.
popular. Yeah, but if it does happen and, I rock up to the front of the line, the agency person might be like, hey, I'm a field watcher. What are you doing? Don't rule the system here. Get back in the main line.
That's good. Good tip. Do you have your other joke tips?
Joke tips?
Yeah.
Oh, just for the sake of it? Okay. Well, I was going to pad it and do a top 3 list. So number 1 was going to be, when booking a flight, make sure you get one of the seats toward the front of the flight, and make sure other passengers will get to board earlier than you, but you'll get off the plane first. That was kind of a joke tip because I think everyone already kind of knows that.
Helpful.
Helpful, it's true. And then the other one was going to be, and this is actually, for me, it's a legit tip, but I think 95% of people would not really have this concern. But with me, I've got my backpack, which I don't have here now, so I'm just going to get a fake ghost backpack to demonstrate this. I've got my backpack, and I put my computer in there, right? Now, at the top, you've got the overhead kind of compartments.
Mm-hmm.
If I first put my bag in there, and then someone else gets their, like, heavy fucking luggage, goes, boom, like, I don't like the idea of my backpack getting knocked around, just in case something happens to the laptop.
Yep.
So, I mean, what you can do, obviously, is you can put it under your seat in front of you. But that gets uncomfortable during, a long flight, or even a short flight. That gets uncomfortable, you've got left leg room. So what I do is I put it under the seat at the start of the flight, but then after takeoff and everything, once you're in the air and everyone already has their bags in the compartment, then I slide it in.
Then you put it in the overhead.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, if you're like me and you're very pedantic, then that could come in handy. Yeah, that's it.
That's quite handy as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Alright, now let's pay some bills around here and get our first sponsor on, and then we'll be back with some more topics.
See you soon. Do you like Tony Abbott?
Yeah.
But you find that when you're drinking your coffee, you don't have time to look at his awesome face. Well, fear no longer, because now you have Tony Abbott mug. Tony Abbott mug, Tony Abbott mug, Abbott up your day with Tony Abbott mug. Tony Abbott mug is a coffee mug with Tony Abbott's face on it, so now when you're nursing your coffee, you can look at Tony Abbott. The best thing about Tony Abbott is you don't even actually have to be drinking coffee to use it. Tony Abbott mug is fully compact and transportable, so you can take it to the office, the park, even the ocean. Waterproof. Tony Abbott mug, Tony Abbott mug, Abbott up your day with Tony Abbott mug. Stop wasting time. Stop being without Tony Abbott. Get Tony Abbott mug today. Hey.
We're back.
Great product.
Yep. Thanks for coming on board.
I think it's going to be a hit in Newtown.
Yep.
Yep.
Every person will need one of these products.
Absolutely.
So back on topic of what we have to say for this week is an interesting statistic which I should have written down.
It's okay.
Or wrote down. But basically, Game of Thrones is one of the most pirated TV series of recent times.
The thing that's newsworthy is that I think it's always been the most pirated show since it got popular around season 2 or 3.
Okay.
But the most recent episode was the most pirated thing that's ever been torrented.
Really?
I think it was just below 200,000 people at one point were simultaneously share it. So I don't mean obviously much more than 200,000 people actually downloaded it, but at some point there were literally about 200,000 people on one torrent at the same time actively exchanging the data.
So that's more than any movie that's come out, any game, or wow.
Well, I guess it's the perfect kind of storm because it's like who uses computers a lot in Torrance? Nerds.
Yep.
Who watches Dungeons and Dragons, Wizards and Swords type shit? Nerds.
Yep.
And it's also a really good, in my opinion, you don't watch it, but a really good addictive show.
Right.
So when you combine all that, boom.
And this was a season premiere?
No, actually, it was the second episode.
Really? Oh, okay.
I think it created a lot of buzz because, well, I mean, I'll say if someone hasn't watched last week, like, it's no longer the newest episode, it just aired the most recent one, so if anyone is so out of the loop that they haven't watched it yet, or if you plan on watching it, then I reckon just skip.
Just mute us for a sec.
Yeah, give it about 3 minutes and we'll probably be done with this.
When you see this guy again, you can unmute
Then,
it.
yeah, okay, great. So, spoiler coming up. Joffrey, who's the most hated character in the show,
Yep.
copped it. And obviously, everyone had been waiting for that, so...
Gilbert Godfrey is in the show.
It's a Joffrey.
Oh.
How did you get Gilbert Godfrey from Joffrey?
I was just hoping.
Okay. But yeah, he's despised, like, the most hated character on television, and they often, so I think once the episode aired, there was a big, holy shit, on Twitter, and all the nerds went, oh, I gotta get on and find out what happened.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why it was so popular, so I downloaded that particular episode, as far as I understand it.
Fair enough.
Maybe it's been ousted this week, I don't know.
That'll be interesting to see. Let's
I'm gonna watch when I get on.
lift the cone of silence. Alright, so, and it was also the most downloaded out of anything in Australia as well, so it is a universal thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably some country where Game of Thrones is unpopular.
Yep.
Probably like certain Arab nations where they're not allowed to show it because of the nudity, I imagine. I assume
also,
there's some countries in the Middle East. I might be wrong, but I know that some places like Dubai or whatever have stringent.
There's a lot of regions and religions where you can't depict prophets for whatever reason. So that might have something to do with it.
All heavily Muslim
But it's
Muslim
not.
governments would have that.
Is it pure fantasy or is it based on myths? Or I don't even know what Game of Thrones is.
Oh, Game of Thrones? Well, I mean, the story is pure fantasy.
Right.
I mean, there are dragons and stuff in it, so none of the people are real.
Right.
Like actual historical people, but George R. R. Martin has definitely, gotten inspiration from a lot of actual medieval practices, and in some instances, events, I'm sure some of the kings or whatever are based on.
But they're not actually those people.
They're not actually, no. Yeah. Again, there's dragons in it, so you can take that as a fairly good indicator that it's not.
Once you introduce a dragon to a series,
It's fictional.
yeah, it goes down that road.
But yeah, definitely moments in it, like some of the torture or whatever they do, or just the way some of the civilizations like operate, is based on
Okay.
medieval kind of shit.
Is Game of Thrones HBO?
Yes,
It is.
they're on fire at the moment, aren't they?
They've had a lot of.
HBO and Showtime, and to a lesser degree AMC after.
Yeah.
They don't have
They
Breaking
had
Bad
one.
anymore.
Yeah,
but
that was all they had.
they have Walking Dead too.
Okay, true.
Yeah,
true.
so they're getting a bit of steam.
HBO had one point. It had everything.
Yeah,
True
virtually
Blood,
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sopranos, like that was the thing that started it all
True.
for like cable television,
True.
taking it to a new level, and HBO were behind that. So
Yeah.
another show you've never watched and have no interest in because it's old.
Sopranos.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's not the reason why I don't like. I like the old
you
like.
said it's good. Well, it was already popular. Already too popular. Is that the reason?
That might have been something to do with it. I felt I got everything I could out of Goodfellas and Scarface and Donnie Brasco. I don't need to watch. TV
I mean,
show,
Goodfellas is I think my favorite movie of all time, but no, Sopranos
Except for the
definitely
ending.
gives you
Fuck the ending.
Goodfellas.
Yeah.
No, it was a perfect ending.
No.
I had to live the rest of my life as
As a sellout. Yeah, exactly. It was a good moral.
Yeah.
But not good with the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't need any more on a week-to-week basis. I just pop in Pacino, watch some Scarface.
But isn't it kind of cool that Sopranos is probably about 50, 60 hours of material, so like you've never really... I mean, you have to rewatch the series a lot before you were like, this again.
I will say,
Scarface is...
I haven't actually watched a single episode of Sopranos. So
You have actually watched one, remember? Because I tried to
At your
switch
place,
you onto it.
yeah.
Yeah. Then you were like, oh...
with
no.
one eye open.
Yeah.
I can't do
I
it.
think you need to watch 2 or 3 to kind of really get it. It's like most shows, you need to watch 2 or 3 to
Like
really
that
get
True
it.
Detective, I can't do it.
I'm with you on that too. I've watched all of True Detective. You were smart. You quit once you realised it
Bounced.
wasn't for you.
Yep.
But everyone was going on about it so much, and I just figured after episode 1 or 2, I was like, oh, I probably just haven't got hooked yet.
Yep.
So I'll give it. I think I get 3 episodes. I was like, I'll give it one more chance. And then, fun enough, episode 4, the ending was pretty epic. So I actually did. I was like, oh, actually, maybe I am hooked on it. But then, no, just not my kind of thing. So I watched the whole damn first season without really ever properly digging it.
Yeah, right.
I think part of it maybe is that I'm not saying I can't watch a complicated film or something, but I guess like the way I watch TV, a lot of the times I do chill out with a wine or whatever, and I think True Detective, there's always something quite important happening. Maybe something that's going to be brought back later or whatever. So if you don't pay 100% attention 100% of the time, then sometimes you can get a bit left behind and a bit kind of confused. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's slow attention span.
The reason I couldn't do it is Woody Harrelson. I see him as the Cheers guy and as the White Man Can't Jump guy.
Okay, I've never seen the latter. I've never seen White Man Can't Jump.
I just don't see him in that kind of role, which is kind of cool. Like that they flipped McConaughey as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like they gave him 2 totally different characters, but I can't buy into it.
Have you seen The People versus Larry Flint?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
That's Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
Great.
No, I'm saying I
too.
like him. I just don't like him as this role. Like, it doesn't have
Yeah,
much
but
substance
like
for him.
Larry Flint wasn't like the same kind of role as Cheers, or I assume
True.
White Man Can't Jump.
True. But in this particular role, I can't.
Okay.
I can't buy into it.
I think he's kind of well suited to being kind of like the middle American, tries to be good dad, good husband, but just can't, resist temptations. I think kind of perfect for that sort of.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right.
Each to his own.
Well, are we going to move on? Are we going to move on to Piracy? Are you going to tell me about the other pressing events?
Oh, yes. Let's move on from the Piracy. But still stay on the Piracy, but in invasion of privacy.
Oh, it rhymes. Good. Take it away, Kevin.
Now that I'm on a roll. So, there's 2 stories which kind of link that I saw. If you've watched the show before, that I'm an advocate for people holding their privacy and the government bodies or the NSA or whatever staying out of our privacy. There's 2 stories that have come up. One is there's a new speed camera which is being developed and it's actually in use, which they can detect you if you have a mobile phone or if you have your seatbelt unbuckled from 2 kilometers away.
Mm-hmm.
So they plan to just put them on every corner. As soon as you pull out your phone or as soon as you unbuckle your seatbelt, done. The fine's on your dashboard.
Can I, because this is a 2-part story, isn't it, really?
Yep.
There's another thing. I'm going to jump in here and give my opinion at this point before you tell me or tell the audience about the rest of the story.
Yep.
Because I've got an opinion on the car thing, which is sort of, I don't think hypocritical, but it's surprisingly different from my opinion on the next thing you're going to go into.
Okay.
Even though they're very similar. So, I don't really have that much of a problem with the idea of cameras being able to give you speeding tickets or notice you being on the phone or whatever. Because, quite frankly, if a speed camera that's actually within your radius or whatever can already take a picture of you doing that, and you can already get a fine for that kind of thing.
True.
And, secondly, you shouldn't be doing it. I mean, there's nothing really, I think, except for maybe wearing a seatbelt, that I think you should be able to get fined on. I'm not sure about the seatbelt thing, because it's kind of like, well, that's only your safety.
Yep.
But with, texting someone or, using your phone, not hands-free, but, actually using your phone or, simply speeding or whatever, you shouldn't be doing that stuff. I don't care if, they kind of invade your privacy a little bit to get you for that. Secondly, when I say invade your privacy, if it actually was an invasion of privacy, okay, it might have some issues, but the roads are already pretty much owned by the government, okay? So the same way they're allowed to take a picture of you in your car, if the camera's right here, should be the same reason they're allowed to take a picture of you if you're here and the camera's,
This is true.
KMs away.
The people actually pay for the roads.
Yes, but I mean,
And we
again,
pay for registration fee on the road.
yeah.
But-
Same
but
difference. So
anyway,
that is the
yep,
government,
yep.
that is the pool,
Yep.
you know, there's taxpayer money.
Yep.
So same diff, really, just a different way of saying it. So yeah, quite frankly, I mean, I can see why people, in principle, are afraid of where it could go, but just in that specific instance, I'm not really sure where it could go that I would
Yep.
take an issue with.
My-
Honestly,
My problem with it is if, let's say, the seatbelt thing. So if you take your seatbelt off and you drive 100 meters down the road and put it back on, no one's been hurt. Why are you penalized for that?
Well, again, you could say the same thing. Like, are you against speed cameras in general, or
Well, the same.
monitoring cameras in general?
It's a different topic, but again, if you're speeding and no one gets hurt, then why is that a problem?
Well, because they need to discourage it in general. Otherwise, someone will get hurt eventually if it's kind of a free for all. Because I mean, again,
I know that's how it
with that example, you could say the exact same thing with our current system. What if I was not wearing a seatbelt and I drive under this camera right here, and when I drive under it takes a picture of me, and then after I get the picture taken of me, then I have my seatbelt on.
Yep.
Again, you could say the same thing about the technology we already have.
True. This is true.
Now,
but the problem that I have is that if you do just take your seatbelt off and you go around the corner, it's like a place where you wouldn't have got stopped by the police before, and all of a sudden, the second you take it off, so before you even commit anything that's dangerous, you've got a ticket.
right. So I mean, I guess what you were saying is that if it's just you only get pictures taken of you when you go through certain areas, then that means that if you happen to be taking a picture of when you go under this camera, chances are you've been doing it for quite a while. Like, what would the odds be that you just took your seatbelt off? Whether it's with the system that we could go toward, it doesn't allow for just a moment of being human, kind of forgetting the instant that it's off, it's got you.
There's that.
I see what you mean,
but
I
also,
feel like that is what you mean.
maybe this will touch it a bit closer. So when you got the cops and robbers, so you got the people who are good people, but weave in and out of the law, and then you got the cops who try to get them. So they're like, oh, let's go in this corner and hide behind the tree and stuff. And now they're like, we don't even need to outsmart the people. We've got these cameras to fucking take photos.
Well, that's a perfect transition. So let's go away from the cars.
So,
can you tell me about the other thing in a very similar vein that you read this week?
Yeah. So the second law enforced surveillance of citizens is using Google Earth, which is a real-time satellite visual navigation. So I can tune in right now and see what's going on the streets from satellite pictures. So the police are now actually looking at that to see if somebody's running out of a bank with a money bag or whatever, and then they pounce on them. So it's the same kind of thing. You're not safe. Not safe anywhere doing what you'd normally do.
It is sort of the same kind of thing, but this is where it's interesting, because my opinion on this is quite different. I don't like the Google Earth thing, because that's okay, if there was a way to make it so it's only for muggers who are trying to stab old ladies and get their purse, or bank robbers, well, okay. But if we give the authority that kind of control, and they can watch us in any street corner or whatever, where's it going to end? Are they going to be like, oh, shoelaces untied, unsafe?
If they can make $1 out of it, they will. And you just start giving fines just to get their revenue up.
See, that's the point of difference for me. I find the more open, streets, whatever, it's different from the road where you're only going to be in a car doing car shit. It's a little bit different when they've got you on foot, Kevin.
Yep, I agree.
Got you on foot. Can they look into buildings or only on the street?
It's just from top down.
Umbrella. Surveillance umbrella.
Now that's sorted?
Yeah, maybe we should reach out to see if there's any companies out there who might want to give us sponsorship with that kind of product.
I like the idea.
Yeah.
But
make it out of tin foil.
The thing is, I'll need to double back and say that I think it's a great thing. It's any form of recording human activity and keeping it on record is a good thing, but not for the sake of persecuting people. They need to realize that humans do human shit and just let them do it, not pull them up every single time someone does something bad. There's no way you can evolve with that. Everyone's just going to be doing whatever the law tells them to, sticking by the book, and there's no way forward on that.
Yeah, I don't think governments usually set out explicitly to suppress people.
When they need their money, they do.
Yeah, that's the fucked up thing about cops who have quotas.
Yep.
You used to have that in
Exactly.
school. Like cops would just like wait by the corner, so that when kids, this is in high school,
At the time when the school zone kicks in, like a second after.
well, they'll do it for restricted licenses. So they'll be like, "Hey, you've got a friend in your car, got you."
Yeah, right.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, they did technically break the rule, and but it's like you were just sitting there because you've got a quota, and it's an easy way to like pick them off the fence.
Yep.
Like, what if someone down the road is getting raped and murdered right now, but you weren't available because you were trying to, catch
Get someone for
Tommy
doing
Thompson
12 fucking
yeah.
kilometers over. Yeah.
silliness?
So, like, there's a whole lot of ridiculousness around that, and like I said before, when it's like cops versus robbers, it's like a human trying to outsmart another human. That's like that's where you need to go. You start like bringing in these fucking surveillance and shit to start doing your job, and people they lose trust in authority and in the law and order. And that's a bigger problem when people start revolting against that shit.
Yeah.
It's no longer you versus a local Bobby. It's the society versus fucking shit. The face recognition and license recognition. You can drive now through these points on the freeway where every single tag, every single license gets picked up, and if you don't have rego, then you get pulled over. Every single license,
Big Brother is watching.
I don't mind it, but it needs to be done where the people feel safe and they feel protected by the technology,
Yeah, not personally.
not intimidated, and not to the point where they'll change their everyday habits just to accommodate to stay in the borders. That's crazy shit.
It's a crazy world we live in, Kieran. Crazy world we live in. What do you think of?
So that's my rant anyway.
That's right. What do you think of the new Samsung that's been released? Like it can do like the
S5.
The S5, yeah, it can do like the fingerprint detection.
Yep.
That's kind of cool. I don't think mine can do that, unfortunately. Or maybe I can hack it to do it because Android's pretty open. But like, I just use the swipe because I just find like putting in a code or putting in like a special swipe every time would just be a bit of a pain in the ass. I just want to.
But if you lose your
my
phone,
email.
then someone's got all your info.
Yeah, exactly. But whether it's like the finger tap, like that's
It's
just
pretty
as
cool.
easy, but it's like very secure.
That is secure on the Android, and it's a huge step from the iOS on the Apple 5 or whatever the new one is.
Yeah,
5S.
Apple suck. Apple are way behind the ball game.
But that shit, as soon as it's got your fingerprints, it's already in their database. Where this stays local.
Yeah.
If you have a fingerprint, it stays on your phone. It doesn't go. Which is bullshit. Why they're pushing all these iPads. They're giving free iPads to this public schools, just to get the fucking kids' fingerprints on there. It costs them
really?
like $100. The government gives them $500 to put it out there. Yeah.
Are you sure is that a conspiracy theory or is that actually
That's true.
confirmed there?
That's exactly
Just
what
to
it is.
collect fingerprints of children.
That's what I believe.
Oh.
Like somebody as money hungry as Apple, it's probably twofold. It's probably to get them early and they'll be used to this platform and they'll stick with it. But again, they're getting whoever
Even getting apolitical just over which is the best device. I mean, seriously, if Samsung and HTC, who I'm a proud backer of, if they keep improving their devices this exponentially, like Apple can't keep up.
No, exactly.
They can't. They're what Steve Jobs was great at was doing something that actually already been done before, but marketing as if it was like this really unique invention. Now that he's dead, it's kind of like that skill there, that spin, just isn't quite as tight with Apple. So they're just struggling more and more to justify why they're that much more expensive, but that much more behind the.
They don't have the innovations to market, and they don't have somebody who can market nothing. So they're kind of stuck.
There was what's the name of the new guy? Tim Cook.
That name does ring a bell, yeah.
Yeah, let's just say it's Tim Cook. I'm almost certain it's something Cook. I think it's Tim Cook. The Onion had a good headline on him when he was like releasing the. Are they on the 5 or the 5S?
5S, I think. I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's say it's the 5S. Like their headline.
Tim Cook.
There. Their headline when like Tim Cook was presenting that, like he was taking over John's role, was like, Apple unveils confused man with no ideas.
Which is not too far from the truth.
Not really, yeah. Almost not even.
But
Almost not even satire.
like so back when IBM first came into the data processing or word processing scene or whatever it was called, it was basically it was like a glorified calculator to get people to do their office work on. And then Apple came up with this thing which was like think differently. You can like graphic design and whatever, using all these out of the, like stuff that was out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
But where they've gone back now is that they've made it so simple where somebody in a primary school can use an iPad, you can't be creative anymore because you've got to stick within the guidelines.
In a way, though, there is actually one thing you could legitimately give them, is that they kind of figured out, like, say with smartphones, which I think is the best example, probably even better than iPads, they got an idea that already existed, but they made it marketable by making it really simple,
Yep.
really straightforward, and there's something to be said for that. Like, me and you, like, we're kind of, like, technically literate, so that doesn't really, the simplicity doesn't appeal to us as much as the customizability or the openness.
Sure.
But for, say, someone like my mum, who, like, wanted to make the jump to, like, a phone with email and everything like that, but at the same time, there's not, you know, she wouldn't mind me saying, technologically inept. There's really no, but I mean, that was kind of the phone for her, because it's very straightforward.
It makes sense, but
Having said,
there's a distinction between using something to do the day-to-day or using something to innovate.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is when Apple got in the game, it was all about innovate with like this new way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now that's not their mantra, but they've gone actually backwards.
And having said that, to go back on everything I just said to a degree, that argument, I think, for iPhones existed more, say, 4 or 5 years ago. But now, let's face it, I mean, if you can figure out how to make a phone call into text or get your email on an iPhone,
Yep.
you can do it, you know, where's the phone button? Yep. Where's the text button? You know, it's all here.
Yep.
Like, it's not really, you know, even more straightforward anymore.
But what is different is if you're on Android and you want something, an SMS program, you've got like 40, 50 to choose from.
Yeah,
if you're on iPhone, you've got the one. You can stick within their guidelines.
Yeah, not a fan of Apple. Not a fan at all. I was going to save this for your movie review, but I may as well just like mention it now because it's relevant to what we're talking about. Have you seen the show Silicon Valley?
No, I haven't.
Underrated.
Okay.
Underrated because it's new.
Okay.
But you know, everyone's like I just finished House of Cards. You know, I watched Game of Thrones. If you want to watch a show that's like good, funny, good quality show, fairly short, you know, only half-hour episodes, and it's not really like 5 seasons deep, so you can play catch-up.
Right.
Silicon Valley, brand new, only 2 episodes in. Recommend checking it out.
What's it about? Is it like literally about Silicon Valley?
Yeah, it's about like some kid who like invents a new program, and it's kind of a satire, I guess, of that kind of Apple, Google, Silicon Valley kind of culture. But it's good. Like, it's same guy made Office Space.
Okay,
Which,
right.
You know, my judge, good at what he does.
My interest has been struck. I'll give it a go.
It's the first legitimately funny fictional TV show I've seen for a while.
The Office Space people did King of the Hill.
King of the Hill and Beavis and Butthead.
Beavis and Butthead.
I don't know about the people, but Mike Judge, the main guy, did, yeah.
Yep.
He also made one I haven't seen called Idiocracy.
That is a great movie.
Is it? Okay.
Yes,
it got
for what it is.
It got poor reviews when it came out, and then it's become a bit of a cult classic. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people really, really like it. So.
It got poor reviews because the people reviewing it were like, it was about them.
I'd be interested in checking it out.
That's a good movie.
So, would you rate it like alongside Office Space in terms of quality? Or
Yeah,
not?
I would, yeah.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
So while we're talking about movies or things to watch, can I have my movie review?
Yeah, okay, do your movie review.
Because-
and we'll,
Because I'm excited about this. I
Alright.
saw the Lego movie. Have you seen the Lego movie?
no, I have not.
To anybody and absolutely anybody who's watching and listening to this, the Lego movie is my call for the year's best full-length feature film.
Wow, not even animated.
No.
Overall. Okay. Overall.
Yep. It's great.
There's still 6 months to go. Oh,
No.
7. Oh, is he not going to even be beaten by anything in the future? Some cool shit's coming out this year.
No. Won't match to it.
Inherent Vice by Paul Thomas Anderson, the same guy who made There Will Be Blood, is coming out this year.
That might be like somewhere around 2 or 3. Untouched. Is
Right.
Lego movie number 1.
Right.
I'm serious. It's if you put aside like the Lego animation's kind of cool. Like it's stop animation, but it's also CGI, so it's a bit smoother.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put aside that and you just like if you read the script or you just like invest yourself into the plot of the story,
Mm-hmm.
that it will strike a chord with everybody. I can't say too much because there's spins and there's twists.
It's got Darth Vader in it. Spoiler! I haven't seen it, but I heard that, so I got it spoiled. I can spoil it. I think he's on the poster though, so it doesn't really matter.
He might be, yeah.
Yeah.
It also has both Michelangelo and Michelangelo.
Who the hell is Michelangelo?
I don't know.
No, I know Michelangelo.
He's the Ninja Turtle.
Is it pronounced Michelangelo?
It's a gag from the movie.
Oh, okay.
But honestly, there is something in every 10 minutes, in every 2 minutes, there's something that will make everybody laugh. Guaranteed.
Oh, so it's a really funny movie, not just really like...
It's clever and it's absolutely funny.
I reckon...
And you'll leave the thing humming this tune.
My friend, who is a kind of aspiring filmmaker, made a point to me recently, which I thought was pretty bang on. Obviously, Lego Movie would be an exception to this, and I'm sure here and there are exceptions, but he was saying film, drama, TV, comedy. In other words, just like all the good comedy is on television these days, and all the good well, no, you can't say that about dramas, but he's saying...
So film is drama, television is comedy.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously good television dramas as well, as we've kind of already pointed out earlier in this episode. He's not saying that, but he's saying in terms of films, you're not going to see that many good comedies. Like, if you're going to make a film, probably best bet's drama.
Give it substance, yeah.
Yeah. Which I think, with the exception of The Office Space, and the exception, obviously, in your opinion, of the Lego Movie, which I haven't seen, it's basically true. Like, I don't think it used to be true, but I don't think it was true in the 90s necessarily, but recently, yeah.
I'd say for the TV point, it's probably in the short form, so like a 30 or 26 or however many
Comedy
minutes.
is snappy, yeah.
Yeah.
If you make a comedy film, most of the time you want to make it like an hour and a half.
But,
maybe even an hour and 20 minutes.
But where you get to like the HBO kind of episodes, like the time slot is about an hour or whatever. So that's a different...
Yeah, for what? Silicon Valley's not on HBO, but it's on... I think it's on some kind of cable channel.
They're about 48 minutes or something. So with ads, it's about an hour.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, I see the point, and I agree that there is a few different things in there.
Did you know with Breaking Bad, by the way, they were going to kill Jesse in the first season?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And they like carried too much, they kept him.
And that's why he wilded out YOLO, and he just started like having his catchphrase and shit.
Yeah, that's right.
And then people loved him.
Like, we want more of that, yeah.
He was a very strong character.
Yeah, my favourite character probably in the whole thing.
And now in Need for Speed.
Which looks stupid. But I've checked out his IMDb, there's other cool stuff that he's lined up for.
Alright.
Have you heard anything about Need for Speed?
No. Just, I've seen trailers on TV, that's it.
There was a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle trailer, wasn't there?
Hell yeah.
Did you think it was better than the first one? I didn't like the first one, so...
Yes, the first time that I mentioned this, I said there was no Splinter, and I was kind of upset about that. But Splinter's here. He's back in the second trailer. He's there. All doubts have been alleviated.
Big, giant, talking rat.
I'm totally behind this movie.
Does it look good? Does it look stupid?
Yeah, no.
Because that was our concern, or my concern when we first talked about it. I'm like, well, big turtles you can do, but a big rat in live action just is going to look silly. But they managed to make him look kind of like he had finesse, and
it was just there was a glimpse about him, so you couldn't really tell.
Oh, so it was kind of like a rat, and then
because they probably heard the public outcry of, oh, where's Splinter? And then they're like, well, here he is. Stay tuned if you want to see the whole thing. Buy a ticket.
Right.
But I'm hyped for it. I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
Just some strange shit.
I still don't trust Michael Bay, but you can go back to the Ice Cube episode to hear my thoughts about that.
Episode 5.
This is 8?
Yep. 7 was this guy.
Yeah, 5.
5. Episode 5, if you want to double back on that one. Like that one, come back to this one, like this one as well.
How do you think this episode's going so far?
Oh, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think it's maybe been a bit dry. We've just been kind of like yarning a bit. But sometimes I'm not quite sure about a show, and then I watch it after the fact, and I'm like, oh no, that was a good one, so...
That's true.
Don't know.
The thing is, there's no real gags to be said about what we've been talking about. It's all like, it's all legit stuff.
And we do make the disclosure that we try to be funny when we can, but we don't try and force it. Like sometimes it's not. We just talk and it's not that funny. And there's no shame in that. We're not trying to make it any other way. Okay.
But it's always 100% our opinion.
Yeah. Not
swerved by anybody until we get a sponsor.
It's authentic. Yeah.
And speaking of sponsors, let's bring on our second sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Do you have a garbage bin?
Yeah.
But you find that your stupid fucking driveway is too goddamn long to haul it out every week.
Yeah.
Well, fear no longer, because now you have...
What?
RC Trash.
Mm.
RC Trash is remote control trash bins. Now you can remote control your trash.
Oh.
Feeling skeptical?
Yeah.
Well, just check out this real-life video of RC Trash in action. Bet you feel stupid now, don't you? RC Trash, get it now. Let's go. Welcome back.
Thanks to our second sponsors for getting behind us.
Yep.
Glad to have you on board.
And speaking of sponsorship,
Yep.
I'd like to link this into another ongoing segment that we have created. Oh, by the way, a new ongoing segment coming up at the end of the show. But
yes, I'm excited about that.
Stay tuned.
It'll be within the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. But this is a current ongoing segment. Fiog solicits public figures for tweets.
Yeah, hashtag.
It's a hashtag. Yeah. So we did Ken Ham a while ago to convert to creationism. No, so we're still evolutionology believers.
Yep.
Yeah. And then last week we did Toyota. They've had a couple of malfunctions, you know, some bad press. We said, hey, no, we'll endorse your cars.
Yep.
Your shitty fucking cars if you retweet this. We didn't say shitty cars in the thing. We just said, well...
But now we do, because
yeah,
I said no.
because they didn't retweet anything.
So there you go. We've extended the olive branch twice.
And twice we've been rejected.
So let's go for lucky 3.
Okay, this week I think we've got a guy who's gonna play ball.
Alright. Who you got, Matt?
We're reaching out to Barry O'Farrell. Going right back to what we talked about at the start of the show.
Yep.
I would try to make it clear, because you're already a little bit in his favour, so unfortunately it's not like a total 2-for-2 deal. Or a 2-for-1 deal. But I made it clear that, you know, I thought it was unethical, I thought it was the right thing to do to resign, I thought he deserved a lot of the flack he was copping for it. That could all change, though, Barry O'Farrell.
1 retweet.
Yep. After the show's done and uploaded, I'm going to be jumping on the Field account. I'm going to be reaching out to you. And if you retweet that tweet, which will link to our show, I'm sorry, I burped on my public service announcement.
It's excitement.
Yeah, I'm getting excited, Barry, because I'm looking forward to being in your camp. And by the way, look...
Matt wants to be BOF's BFF.
Yeah. That's right.
I just thought that right then.
That's right. Very, very well done, Kevin. But if you retweet that, because I know you've already resigned as Premier, and look, I mean, getting back in might be a bit of an ask. Like, I mean, if that's what you want, Barry, that's what I'll support. That's what I'll recommend. But if you want another position, Prime Minister, isn't it weird that we do Premier of New South Wales? That's kind of old-fashioned.
It is, yeah.
But whatever. If you want Prime Minister of Australia, you know, I'm all for that. If you want some place in the Senate, we have a separate Senate, right?
Yep.
We do that.
If we don't, we'll set one up just for you.
That's fine. If you want to be President of America, of the States.
Opening batsman for Australia.
That's right. Premier of China.
Whatever you want.
Premier or President.
If you want to go to space, be part of the NASA space program.
That's right.
We'll help you.
The Duke of the Universe.
Yep.
Of the galaxy, if you don't want to get too big. But, I mean, whatever you want. King of England. I'll be for it.
I'm pretty sure our mate Barry's watching because he's got a lot of time on his hands now.
He does. And
so
he's actually...
we legitimately will be on your side.
The thing I like about Barry O'Farrell... there's my pinfold sign there. The thing I like about Barry O'Farrell, the thing that makes him a really good candidate, with Ken Ham, he was on Twitter, but he didn't retweet or interact very much.
Sure.
With Toyota, it's a corporate Twitter account. They're not really going to have a sense of humour or get involved. Barry O'Farrell, though, I checked it out, he actually does seem to be using it himself and kind of, you know, has a bit of a sense of humour, so... Not that this is about humour, Barry. This is an important political endorsement, and a blank check of a political endorsement as well. I'm just saying. The chances of him seeing the opportunity seems much more likely than...
So Barry O'Farrell,
previous two.
Thanks for watching so far, this far.
Yeah.
And get at us via Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely.
So who are we going to reach out to? Damn.
Next week.
I'm drinking too much green, so I've just lost my memory.
Don't worry. Yeah, we reached out to Barry O'Farrell, and we will reach out even if whether or not we get a retweet, even if we do get the retweet, we'll still reach out to someone else next week, but we haven't decided that yet. Hey, speaking of reaching out, though, one other thing I wanted to say about Twitter, because we have a bit of a controversial Twitter policy. If anyone is watching and has Twitter, you might notice that we only have 10 followers Part of that is because we're only following 7. And I know that one way to get follows is to give follows. But we don't believe in that. We believe there needs to be a price because we're
Valuable.
a prestigious
Yep.
organisation,
Yep.
group. So our rule is that you have to retweet either a link to our show
Yep.
or reach out to your friends and explicitly suggest they
Yep.
sort something out.
Yep.
Now, on that note, we actually had a group that I wasn't going to mention, but I am now.
Yep, let's do it.
They followed us on Twitter, probably thinking that they, could get a follow from us if they did it. They have a web show as well, a shitty web show, that I didn't really like, and I kind of felt bad for dissing them initially because they did give us a follow. But I thought at the same time it probably is just one of those cynical follows where they expect something back in return. They haven't actually checked out your shit at all. Totally validated. 3 days went by, we didn't follow them back, of course, because you know the rules.
Yep.
Unfollowed.
Yeah, right.
They didn't give a shit.
I didn't watch it, to be fair.
Well, I watched it. I probably shouldn't mention the name because if someone does watch this, they'll get publicity out of it.
Yeah.
But it was one of those shows. They kind of do a bunch of commentaries on celebrity culture, and they're really overly energetic.
Do you know what I think the initial follow was? Because in the display pic, we had the green screen, and they had a green screen. They're probably
Right.
like, oh.
Yeah. They thought just because we had something in common meant that we would actually like them.
We're a bit more complex than that.
Yeah, it doesn't. We've got rid of the green screen now, and now we just kind of travel
Yeah.
to places because you've got to spend money to.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's maybe
Production value.
that's why they unfollowed us, because they're still stuck on the green screen. We're like out on location every week.
That's right.
Somewhere new. We've been to Egypt. We've had Ice Cube.
They don't have any sponsors either.
No, it's probably jealousy. If it's a jealousy thing,
You
like
see, they probably-
I wish them the best.
I imagine they do actually sponsor us in the sense that they run those YouTube ads, which we don't. We buy YouTube ads on occasion, but we don't interrupt our channel.
No.
We don't interrupt our viewership with that. And honestly, I'll pledge neither.
No.
We never will.
Never. No.
You know, my biggest
So that's basically when you load up one of the YouTube clips and it plays an ad before, or it displays shit down the
I
bottom.
just go straight to the content.
Fuck that. I ain't pitching for nobody else.
No, absolutely not. You know what really pisses me off though?
What's up?
If someone runs an ad where they've pirated content, they just uploaded a clip from a show,
Really?
and they profit by putting an ad on it.
Wow.
I hate that. I mean, I'm grateful that they uploaded it so I can see the clip that I was looking for. But
Don't
it's
make money
like,
off it.
you didn't. Yeah, don't make money off it. Just share it.
Because they've done absolutely nothing.
Yeah. You just ripped it and put it up, and now you're getting advertising revenue that they would have gotten if people watched them on TV.
Crazy.
Yeah, not cool. Not cool.
All right. Speaking of
You reckon we're really changes?
nothing that has anything to do with the next topic, but let's get on to our last new permanent stable segment.
Shall we address before we run the jingle and everything for this one?
Yeah.
We still have a prediction to kind of round off.
Alright, let's do it quick.
Prediction.
So this will be our last prediction.
Yeah.
Recap. Last week, 2 weeks ago, what did you predict?
2 weeks ago, I predicted. Ooh, it wasn't property damage in England, was it? It was. Do you remember what you predicted?
No.
It wasn't going to be fun with fly. It's
Oh,
embarrassing.
mine was a kayak was going to be found in an unusual place.
Okay, did that happen?
I don't think so.
No. Still over time. I should have thought about that before we started. Well, I guess
So that's
because
why
I
we're
can't-
dropping this segment.
Yeah, because I can't
'Cause we're not
recall what
invested.
I talked about last time. I assume it didn't come true.
But we have a brand new segment.
Okay, we're going to run a jingle for it?
Let's do it. I think the button's over here. It's old, it's stupid, it's no longer relevant, it's dumb and dusted. Break. So, if you didn't get it from the jingle, this is Dumb and Dusted.
Yeah.
Where we just look to yesteryear and just see what happened and what went wrong.
Something that is no longer around that we don't miss, that we think
Exactly.
is stupid and doesn't deserve to be around.
Good written.
People talk about the good old days a lot.
We're like,
We're like, let's
happens.
look at something
Get over
that
it.
we can be grateful is gone.
Yep.
Just, was taking up too much space.
it had its time. Gone.
Yeah.
This week?
The woolly mammoth.
Yep.
Dumb
and dusted.
Dumb and dusted. So reasons that the woolly mammoth is stupid. First of all, my research.
Yep.
It wasn't actually even bigger than like an elephant.
Right.
Is right now. So
it wasn't that mammoth at all.
We've got we've got elephants already.
Yeah, why?
They're pretty interesting to look at.
Yep.
Well, woolly mammoth's just hairy, so it's got bigger tusks.
And on that as well, so because they had the hair, and then the Earth's climate started to rise, the temperature started to rise. They died out because they had the hair.
Poorly designed.
Yep.
Poorly designed by nature.
They overheated themselves.
Yeah, that's stupid. Their tusks, by the way, were way too long.
Way too long.
They couldn't gouge anything. I'm sure a bunch of prey got away from it because it was, hard to direct. I got one stat as well. If you want to, is there anything you want to riff on while I'm just quickly looking this up?
Yeah, like just the name woolly mammoths. When they name themselves, why would you call yourself a woolly mammoth? It's ridiculous. You got like rhinoceroses and anteaters and pterodactyls, all these good names, and then it's like, oh, check it out, guys, I'm the woolly mammoth.
Yeah. Also,
Dumb and dusted.
if you look at old cave paintings, apparently on record, woolly mammoths were only the third most depicted by ancient humans.
Really?
They lost to.
Come on.
They lost to horses.
Right. Horses, they're alright.
And bisons.
And they're both still around.
Yeah, and both better than the word. But honestly, you lose to a bison.
Yeah.
A bison's just like.
Just pack it
It's like a cow.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a bull, but I mean, it's.
Yeah.
If people were more interested in drawing pictures of that just shows how stupid the woolly mammoth was. I'm glad I hope they don't clone it.
Exactly. I never even want to mention it again.
Dumb
and dusted.
Dumb and dusted.
Done. So let's wrap this all up. And is there any other things you want to bring up or general housekeeping before we bid adieu?
We're going to be recording the show on Sunday next week because I have a gig, which I may as well plug.
Yep.
I don't know if anyone's going to watch it, but maybe we'll take off this.
You plug what you're doing, I'll plug what I'm doing.
28th of April, Monday. Okay.
Yep. Where at?
At the Cafe Lounge. There's the Comedy Lounge in Surrey Hills.
Okay.
I believe it starts at. If you want to eat and everything, get in there at like 7:30. Get yourself a seat, and I think the show kicks off at around 8 p.m.
So what's it called?
Comedy Lounge at the Cafe Lounge in Surrey Hills. I don't have the exact street address, but that information, if you Google, will be more than enough to find it.
Yep.
If you follow them on Twitter as well, they send out a secret code on the day, so it costs $10 at the door, which honestly, for the quality of the show, is already really cheap.
Yep.
I think it's honestly
for a nice
one of the
entertainment.
I think it's one of the best, most consistent quality rooms in Sydney.
Yep.
And $10 is nothing. But if you get their code word, which they put on Facebook and their Twitter on the night, if you say it at the door, you get $5 entry.
There you go.
Yep.
And not only that, but for $5 you'll see this guy perform. You'll see me out there doing my thing as well in the crowd.
About 5 minutes, but there'll be other good acts too.
Yep. But this show will still come out on the Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay, that's consistent.
And what I've been doing is for the past 5 days and for the next 7 days is I've been locked down recording my new album, my music album, which is why you can see I haven't shaved or given too much.
You want to look rugged for the cover?
No, it's a 24/7 deal. When I'm not recording or coming up with material, I'm sleeping and coming up with material.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. And we hope to see everybody next week on our show, which will be on the Tuesday again. Yep. This has been episode 8.
Episode 8.
So in 2 weeks, when we reach double digits, which is episode 10, we're going to have a special, which is a 2 hour, because we're double digits. We're going to go
double digits, double time.
Double time.
That's not going to be consistent though. We're not going to be doing 2 hours every week after that. But just to celebrate, we're going to be doing a 2 hour episode. So,
yep. So look out for that. And next week we'll be back for episode 9.
Enjoy it.
Peace.